I hope you are ready for the next chapter. Already, I made an introductory video about the Constitution of India and I had sent it yesterday. But still, I'm back with the concepts which are related to the Constitution of India, the features of the Constitution of India, the fundamental rights from the Constitution of India, and the guiding values and the principles which are written in the preamble and Constitution of India. So, without any delays, shall we begin? As you see here, it's just pictures which give you a preview about the chapter Constitution and salient features of Constitution of India. We have looked at the Indian Constitution in classes 6th and 7th in the social and political life textbooks. Now, have you ever wondered why need a constitution, or whether you've been curious about how the constitution got written or who wrote it? In this chapter, we will discuss both these issues and also look at the key features of the Indian constitution. Each of these features is crucial to the working of democracy in India, and some of these will be the focus of different chapters in this book. So, we'll get there. Now, why does a country need a constitution? Today, most countries in the world have a constitution. While all democratic countries are likely to have a constitution, it is not necessary that all countries that have a constitution are democratic. Now, due importance should be given here the line. Most countries in the world have a constitution. While all democratic countries are likely to have a constitution, it is not necessary that all countries that have a constitution are democratic countries. The constitution serves several purposes. Firstly, it lays out certain ideals that form the basis of the kind of country that we as citizens aspire to live in. In other words, you just can say that constitution is set of rules by which we are governed. Constitution tells us what the fundamental nature of our society is. A country is usually made up of different communities of people who share certain beliefs and may not necessarily agree on all issues. Now we'll go back to the making of the constitution. There is a rich history for the making of Indian constitution. Remember 14th April, birthday of Dr. BR Ambedkar, the person who gave us the constitution. In 1934, the Indian National Congress made the demand for a Constituent Assembly. During the Second World War, this assertion for an independent Constituent Assembly formed only of Indians gained momentum, and this was convened in December 1946. The photo on page 2 shows some members of the Constituent Assembly. You can see in this one here. Between December 1946 and November 1949, the Constituent Assembly drafted a constitution for independent India. Already you might be knowing that the chairman of the Constituent Assembly was Dr. Babu Rajendra Prasad, and the chairman of the drafting committee from the Constituent Assembly was Dr. BR Ambedkar. Free to shape their destiny at last after 150 years of British rule, the members of the Constituent Assembly approached this task with the great idealism that the freedom struggle had helped to produce. You will read more about the work of the Constituent Assembly later in the chapter. The photo alongside shows Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru addressing the Constituent Assembly. You can see here. Now there is a situation in Nepal. We'll discuss about that situation. Nepal was a monarchy. The previous constitution of Nepal, which had been adopted in 1990, Nepal was ruled by the kings, Gyanendra, Dipendra, reflected the fact that the final authority rested with the king, even though they had the constitution. People's movement in Nepal fought for several decades to establish democracy, and in 2006, they finally succeeded in putting an end to the powers of the king. Now the people have to write a new constitution to establish Nepal as a democracy. The reason that they do not want to continue with the previous constitution is because it does not reflect the ideals of the country. Our constitution reflects the ideals of our country. So the previous constitution did not reflect the ideals of the country that they want Nepal to be or what they have fought for. So they wanted to draft a new one. Now, examples of misuse of power. Now we will see a comic strip here and we'll discuss both situations and we'll compare the situations. Now look at the first scene. Suresh is the class monitor. Suresh, he is a bully. What is a bully? Bully is somebody who is very strong and who tries to rag others, who tries to show his power. He is a bully. His classmates are not too fond of him. Mrs. Rao, the class teacher, has to leave the classroom on some urgent work. She asks Suresh to mind the class. Suresh starts picking on Anil. Suresh says, Anil, today I am going to report you to Mrs. Rao. But what have I done? When Mrs. Rao returns to the class, he says, Ma'am, while you are away, Anil kept talking loudly and disturbing the class. He would not listen to me. Now the teacher, Mrs. Rao, scolds Anil for no reason. Anil, you will have to stay back after school today and write, I will not disobey the class monitor 100 times. Anil says, but ma'am, I did not do anything. Now you can see here, Suresh draws kind of pleasure here, right? We'll go to the next situation. Now this is a situation, demonstrates one such situation in the classroom. We'll see here. Let's play basketball today for a change. No, we will play cricket. Now, we always have to do what the boys want because they are in majority. The girls are not happy. They want to play basketball while boys want to play cricket. Ma'am should think of some other way to make all of them happy. The teacher decides to settle the problem with a show of hands. We have won. The boys are really happy. Obviously, there are more boys in the class. So if boys are more in the class, when teacher says how many of you want to play cricket, the show of hands will be more in the favor of the boys. If it is in favor of the girls, right? If you ask in our class, you might be saying hum marpeet khelenge, right? Such unhealthy situations can occur in democratic societies too, where a majority can continuously enforce decisions that exclude minorities and go against their interests. As the above storyboard illustrates, every society is prone to this tyranny of the majority, but the constitution contains rules which cater to the majority and the minority also. So this is example of domination and majoritism. Now we will review the both of the examples. Now in the first example, the class monitor Suresh is a bully, wanted to make Akhil, Anil it is, right, is an innocent boy, and the teacher believes that the class monitor is saying the truth. The constitution usually contains rules that ensure that minorities are not excluded from anything that is routinely available. A constitution is precisely to prevent this tyranny of the majority. Another reason why we domination by the majority of a minority is this can refer to one community dominating on the other. For example, inter-community domination, or members of one community dominating on the others within the same community. Intra-community, inter-community, where one majority tries to subjugate the another one, the minority. Now let's get back to the important things from the chapter. That's the key features of Indian Constitution. Now, the beginning of the 20th century, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle for independence from British rule for several decades. During the freedom struggle, the nationalists had devoted a great deal of time thinking how a free India would be like. Now, they wanted to make rules, they wanted to have their own ideas regarding the free nation, India. Well, when we get independent, they wanted India to be like this. Those ideas are the basis for the constitution. There was an extraordinary sense of unity among the members of the Constituent Assembly. Each of the provisions of the future constitution was discussed in great detail. Now, whenever the Constituent Assembly, which sat to compose the Constitution, whatever they spoke were all written, were all recorded. They are called assembly debates. It was discussed in great detail. There was sincere effort to compromise and reach an agreement through consensus. If there was problems, they would go for a consensus. The above photo shows Sardar Patel, a prominent member of the Constituent Assembly. See here. Now, Baba Saheb Dr. Ambedkar is also known as the father of the Indian Constitution. He believed that his participation in the Constituent Assembly helped the scheduled caste get some safeguards in the draft of the Constitution. But he also stated that though the laws might exist, scheduled caste still had reason to fear because the administration of these laws were in the hands of the caste Hindu officers. He therefore urged scheduled caste people to join the government as well as the civil services. You might be knowing about the life of Dr. BR Ambedkar. You have done the drawings or paintings on the life of Dr. BR Ambedkar and have submitted also. Now you might be knowing how hard it was for Dr. BR Ambedkar when he was studying. He belonged to the Mahar caste and he was born in a family where the family had nearly 12, 13 children. So even though his father was a Subedar, he couldn't sit with the other children. He used to sit in some corner and he did not drink water from public well. They were not allowed to go to a public place. So they were kept apart from the mainstream. So this is what troubled him. He became a barrister. He became the first law minister of independent India. When the job was given to him, when the job was assigned of drafting the constitution, there was nobody as experienced as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So the work was handed over to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who did it with such experience. Now we enjoy the freedom of speech, we enjoy the fundamental rights. It is all thanks to one man, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who also safeguarded the interests of the minorities as well as the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribe. Now the next part is obviously the features of constitution that I would deal in another video. For today, it's just the introduction video and a little about the Constitution of India. So I hope you're getting this one, guys. So tomorrow, if it is possible, we'll go for a YouTube live or a Google Meet class. Till then, remember, as always, stay safe and stay inside.